All right, happy Thursday, June 9th, everybody. It is our first design meeting in June. A little technical difficulties getting off the ground today, so we'll see who can actually make the meeting, but we're here. We're going to talk about design tasks related to Backdrop CMS. We're going to start by looking at backdropcms.org, our flagship website, and talk about the things that we are currently working on that may need design. First and most exciting on that list is the showcase section. So this is something we've been talking about for a long time. We want people who've built sites in Backdrop to be able to post those sites, pictures of those sites, information about those sites on our website. It will help as a marketing tool. It will also help sales, so people who are interested in Backdrop can see what other Backdrop sites are already out there, what Backdrop can do, stuff like that. Darius has made us a beautiful design of what a showcase node will look like. So this is when you click through to an individual case study of a site, what it'll look like. And I don't know, Darius, if you want to, maybe I should do a screen share, or I don't know if you want to do one.
Yeah, either way.
Okay.
What's easier for you?
Let's have you do it, because then you can talk through it at your speed.
Okay, let's see. Okay, what is this new thing that looks like DJ gear? Okay, weird. Control room, anyway. Alright, can we see this?
Yep.
Okay, well, here we go, the node. Here's what we've cooked up for what we think one of the featured Backdrop website showcase items could look like. We have a big hero image on the top, and this can be whatever image. This is just something I found on Pixabay, which is one of my favorite public domain and Creative Commons open license photography sites. And the idea here is that we can either have an image that has a dark background or a light background. So then you could choose either to have white text on top of that or black text. Not sure how complicated that would be, but that's the ideal there. Just for legibility reasons, of course. Yep. And then we would have a title and then just a little brief summary of the project. I just sort of ripped this from their existing site. And then these little widgets on either end would help you pan through each of the featured items in the showcase. I didn't put the words next and previous here because I thought that they were pretty big and obvious enough, but you never know, people could still miss these, so that might be something we want to revisit in the future. And then after that is a more in-depth summary of the project itself. It won't always just be Jen Lampton's bio. And then to the right, this is an existing model that I had used on a very similar project. I'm not sure if we need this, but I have heard a lot of positive feedback from the previous project that people like to have some kind of bullet points or call-outs. So I'm not sure how we could frame this, but I called it project summary. Maybe it could be highlights. I'm not sure, but I think it helps with scanning, and I've heard that other people do like having a little sidebar of info there.
Yeah, I mean, there are a couple of things that we have in our content buckets that I think we can put there. Like if we wanted to put like modules that were used, or particular things, like this is an e-commerce site. Like there's definitely some bullet points that we can highlight about each project, and we'll see what kind of content we get to. Like if people don't use the modules used and do use the types of projects, we can change that around as well.
Yeah, I think that is cool to call out whether or not it was a blog site or e-commerce or whatever else at least in there. So yeah, I think this could be flexible and something that we can flesh out more. And then here we are with the eye candy. And so it's intended for this to be a modular setup. You can have all, some, or none of the various different types of website display modes here. Sorry, someone's hitting me up on Slack. And so you can have a full screen desktop view, which we have, for example, here. And this shows you most of what the page might look like. It cuts off towards the bottom, And it's just sort of an arbitrary cut that whoever is posting some of these screenshots can make themselves. And then you'll notice that there's a little bit of gray space around this, just because there's certain parts of a site that end up being white, and that would just normally bleed off into the page. So it's nice to sort of help frame things here. And I think before, Wes was talking about possibly creating the browser frame with CSS, which would be pretty nifty. So this is one of the different modules that you could pick. I don't know what else to call them, frames or modules. So we have full desktop. And I find that people really dig the testimonials thing. And I think this is the style I've been working with for a while that works. It grabs your attention, but I don't think it's too gaudy or anything. It's a nice little quote style. And this could either be about the site itself or about backdrop or whatever else people want to put in here. What do you guys think about having some kind of testimonial block as part of the overall template?
I think that's great. I think it's going to be super helpful for the sales pitch aspect. Like, people want to see good things that represent it.
Cool. All right, then we'll keep this little element here too. Below here, so now we have what could be a tablet view or mobile, and the phone as well. And these are interchangeable, so it could be phone first, tablet second, tablet first, phone second, whatever you think is more appropriate. And I just sort of kind of randomly am throwing images and pages in here. This is more about just getting a feel for it rather than creating sort of a linear narrative journey throughout the site. I feel like people's minds are just kind of in browse mode when they're looking at case studies. They're not necessarily have to go from point A to B to C. So this image thing was something that I did on previous projects. I'm not sure if that's an element that we want to carry over, but I do find that it helps with the overall pacing of one of these pages. I tried it without it, and it kind of seems like more Tetris-y or more blocky. I find like it's a nice relief to be able to just put these images here. But I guess since it's optional, it might be something that people just avoid altogether. But I thought people might also just not get it. I don't know. How do you guys feel about just having imagery that helps sort of just contribute to the overall vibe of the presentation?
Yeah, in this particular example, I think it looks great. I like the image up at the top not being a screenshot too. The one that you had as your header, yeah, because that is much more captivating to me. Like if I were looking at the front page image or whatever, like I want to see something that is like what the site is about rather than just a screenshot of the site. And I think I like the way that kind of frames the client more than the website. And I think that's I mean that can be a good introduction to why the website was built rather than just like here's screenshots, which is most portfolios. So I find it a relief.
Well, awesome. You took the words out of my mouth. I should get you to talk for my work more often. That was totally the intent there. Right? Just sort of frame the project, the essence of it for itself, rather than just having sort of this litany of screenshots. So, okay, cool. So we'll carry on then with this theme. And like I said, I think it does help with the pacing a little bit. And then we're right back here into the screenshots thing. And as you can see, I've taken a desktop image and not made it the full width as well. So it's just sort of break up the overall layout a little bit. So we have a desktop here and then a mobile version. They don't necessarily even have to be the same page, right? Just a little bit to show you what else, a little variety of layout. And then again, just kind of interjecting these little bit of like personality and vibe sort of shots there. And then further on, we have another awesome hero image. It's really, sinking our teeth into that, some of that eye candy there. And then so forth, kind of more of the same. And to the bottom, this is pretty near to the existing pager styles that we have on the site. I think the only new thing is the thing in the middle, see all projects. I kept that pretty simple and short and sweet, so I didn't try to reinvent the wheel there. So this is what I have for the node page. Now we need to talk about the landing page a little bit. I wasn't sure exactly what types of content we wanted there, and just how much and so forth. But I felt like this was a little bit of a lower hanging fruit to get things started.
I think it looks fantastic. I love the different screencasts and the interjection of images and the little places in there for text too. I think it looks fantastic. So good job. As far as the landing page goes, I don't have any. Oh
my God, was I muted that whole time?
No.
Weird. No, sorry.
There was a little bit of an echo.
Oh, you muted me. Okay, I'll mute.
Yeah, we were getting an echo just from Jen or I speaking. We were getting echoes. Since you're muted, I can also give you more feedback. The arrows up at the very top of the page, if you could turn back on your screen share, that are to the left and to the right. I think you said that they would take you to the next project. Is that right? Like the next item in the portfolio or in the showcase?
Yeah, the next featured showcase item. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get confused with this paradigm because I would think that it was a carousel and it's going to show it's going to slide the next item in a Bootfitter slideshow.
Let me show you what I based it off of. I did a very similar thing on the Canopy site, and I think the previous and next wording did help with that.
Yeah, I didn't have that problem at all down at the bottom of the page, of course, because there's no carousel for me to get an image for me to get it confused with a carousel. And the more obvious. And the fact that it said see all projects also gave me context that I'm looking at previous and next projects, and then see all projects is showing me it's going to take me.
Let me show you this then, because I think. Do you think that these are more obvious because of the wording?
Only slightly.
Okay. So maybe it would just be something we nix altogether, which I would be okay with.
I'd be okay with that too. I mean, we've got the navigation at the bottom where it's not confusing. Maybe we want to make people either scroll through or hit back.
Yeah, I totally see what you're saying where you might think it's a carousel, right?
Yeah. Do we also have some indication in the navigation where you are on the site currently? Like, is Showcases going to be a menu item that will let people know? Like if I wanted to go back to the list, I'm at the top of the page. How could I do that? Or maybe
I was thinking it would be a left-hand main nav item. There's a section for this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there could be. We don't have one now, obviously, because it doesn't exist. But I think that would make sense. Like if we just had a top-level item called Showcase, and then that could be, current color, and then people would know that's where they were, and they could click back on it if they wanted to go up.
That would be the only way. We could do some kind of breadcrumb thing, maybe, here on top of the summary, perhaps.
We aren't really using breadcrumbs anywhere else.
Oh, okay.
So we might just need to figure out how they would fit into the overall design. I mean, that might be something else that's worth thinking about. Bigger picture, we need breadcrumbs eventually. We just need to figure out how.
Thought of that way. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, our left-hand navigation is getting kind of full, as we've already had a problem with the navigation being too long.
You want me to show you something?
Oh yeah, that's right. I think you.
You saw that.
I do have another version of it because I saw this coming. If I can, there she is. So I think maybe one day we might want to think about this. Can you guys see that?
Yeah, I like it.
You never know.
Doing that sooner rather than later would be a good idea because we already have a problem. Oh, I like the login.
Yeah, isn't it pretty?
Yeah. Did you do this recently, or is this from a long time ago?
No, we asked him for this like 2 months ago, and we just haven't built it.
Oh, this is a lot better. But I'm not quite sure how where we would log. Would there be a login link in the left-hand sidebar
Oh yeah,
too?
at the
Oh,
bottom.
I see. I see. You didn't scroll down. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we need to make sure that scroll down is not a problem. For that
Right.
exact
Well, the idea
reason.
here was that like it would sort of be
Sticky.
vert. It
Yeah,
would
yeah.
stick, so like, it would be at the bottom of the viewpoint no matter what.
Yep. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks great. We'll need to make sure that it fits on smaller screens. We've been having problems with people on like MacBook Airs and stuff like that our nav is it runs off the bottom and then they don't know how to scroll down.
This
So.
would help with that for sure, right? And then especially if the
Smaller
bottom
logo.
one is like floaty vertical, vertically responsive or whatever. So,
Mhm. Yep. Wow, this looks great.
yeah, cool. So yeah, I knew this day would come.
Yeah, I love the design here is great too. The login box always is like, geez, it's one of the most Drupal-y things. It's like you look at the user login page and you're like, oh, geez, this site just screams this is a Drupal website or a backdrop website. The thing that most drives me crazy is the asterisks that on username and password that they're
Of
both
course, they're
required.
required.
Well, duh.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, cool. I can't wait to see this then implemented because this certainly takes us out of that realm.
Maybe I'll do
This
that
is
today. That sounds like a fun thing to do.
it's very contemporary. It's very now, and it still fits within, I think, the overall look and feel of the backdrop site.
Yeah, it's great.
Cool. Well, that's all I have for that. And then
Let's talk
there's
about
landing
the
page.
landing page because I don't really,
Yeah.
I don't have any strong feelings about that either. I mean, I think obviously we should have some kind of a carousel-y thing or a slideshow, but I don't know what else we need on that page. Like maybe that's
Let's
enough.
look at
Like
the
if we just
canopies.
have some like
We did
language, and then
simple
like if
here.
we started with the like using the general design that you had for the node page that had the big pretty image at the top and then had the paragraph of text at the bottom and then the copy on top of the image. If we just had like a slideshow with like the image, the copy, and then like maybe I don't know, the
Let's
copy
see.
at the bottom could be
This is what we did here. We just kept it super simple. No hero even, right? So it would just be like backdrop, showcase, whatever, and a couple thumbs. I would suggest not doing this hover thing because it's not really great for mobile, But it kind of gives everyone the same amount of emphasis, which is kind of nice too. It's we're not like, oh, boom, here's crazy showcase, or maybe we could do this with the carousel on top. I don't know, you know. But I
Yeah,
think
actually
something
now that
around
I
here.
see this, I don't want the carousel anymore.
yeah. I
Okay.
would avoid the carousel if possible. I hate those things. I mean, they're just. I mean, I don't actually hate them. They look great, but they're not very useful.
Yeah, we tell every client not to use them, right? So why should we?
Yeah. I think this looks great.
So this could, I mean, it's simple too, right?
Yeah, I don't. I totally agree though with the rollover thing. If each one could just have a caption below instead,
Uh-huh.
or something like that, or an overlay caption that is the bottom quarter or something like that, something that
What we
was
did for
always
chapter
visible.
3 is pretty simple, like this.
Yeah, I still don't like the rollovery things. I don't like those for a lot of
Yeah, no,
reasons.
I don't either.
I,
But I liked how it's just simple. There's like a title and an image.
yep.
So yeah, we could. So this is interesting. This is one approach. This is just an image, right? It's not even a screenshot.
Right. Yeah. And that's kind of what I was saying with the boot fitters, the
Mm-hmm.
on the the asset
The
page,
top part,
yeah, that I liked that it wasn't a screenshot to set the
right?
mood for the project.
I think carrying that through maybe to the landing page, doing it more like we did with Chapter 3 then.
Yeah, and having that be continuous, that the image that you see in the teaser is the same as the featured image at the
Okay,
top of the page. Yeah. So
clever
this image
boy.
would be,
I like
yeah.
that. And then, so would you want just the title, or would you also want the little summary below?
I could go either way on that.
Okay, and then do we want a little bit of like summary above all of the thumbs? Like bad backdrop showcase, these are some of our favorite things, whatever.
Yeah, yeah, that's good for giving people context and for SEO. Like if
Okay,
people Google for backdrop showcase or backdrop examples, then they should land on our site.
perfect. Okay, so it'll be like a hybrid of this and then the canopy example. And then how many in this view? 6? Or...
I don't know. Whatever looks good. I mean, 6 looks good, 4 looks good.
Yeah. Okay.
That's at your discretion.
It's also how many of these things do we want to make, right? Because
Yeah.
it does
Yeah,
take a
I
while.
would say we'll probably start with 3 and then wait for the community to add, you know,
Okay.
whatever they want on the back, and then we'll just review the community submissions and make sure they have like suitable hero images and stuff like that. And when they do, we can make them featured, and they'll appear here too. So we'll start with 3, I think, if we can find 3, and then we'll just see what we get. And if we get 9 fantastic ones, we could make 9 on the homepage.
Right.
Or
Are we
Okay.
talking? I thought we were just talking about how many images we go across, like 2 across or 3 across, right?
Oh, I meant total for now. But yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, how many on this page at all?
Oh, well, I don't know. Where would you find more? Like if, let's say we ran out,
I,
let's say we only showed 6, you know,
so
where
here
would,
we have 6 here. 6 feels good. We did 9 on C3, so I think 6 maybe for now.
yeah, I think,
Tops.
yeah, I think as far as like featured ones, that I think that's a good way to go. But long term, we're gonna run into like where we have a new one that we want to feature, but the old one's still good content, but it'll need to live somewhere else, and you should still be able to navigate
Oh,
it
yeah.
somehow.
So I
you just
thought
have to
about
keep
that. We could just do a view, like sort of like the what do we have? We have one of these views we could just reuse. Where am I? Too much backdrop. Like
So
one of
many
these,
designs.
just like this view could be underneath the featured views, maybe something like
Um,
that.
yeah, this looks great. Yeah, if we took the same design and just made it for all showcases, I think that would be great.
Yeah, so have like the big one on top, and then this would just be the all view below.
Yeah, yeah. And it makes me wonder now that link at the bottom of the showcase asset page that you had that said, see all showcases. It makes me wonder where that would go, whether it would go back to the showcase,
Oh,
landing page or the listing of literally all showcases.
Well,
oh
this could
right,
be
good.
the same, right? We could put the featured 6 at the top, and then we could put the list below, and then that link
Yeah.
would just go to the showcase page.
Yeah, that would be simple. A more straightforward way to do it, I
Yeah,
think.
but then if you had a pager, you hit next, you wouldn't want the 6 at the top again on the next page, which I guess is doable, but it's a little bit, it doesn't seem like a very clean implementation.
What do you mean? Oh, a pager at the bottom. Right, I see what you mean.
Yeah, that the
Right,
first page would be totally different than the second page, or
right,
the
right.
second page would have a
Huh.
search, and the search from the first page would be down at the bottom. There's a lot of weirdness that could be going on there.
What if you did the kind of pager that just looks like an infinite scroll, but it's not? I don't. Like it
Like
just
load
shows
more and
more.
more.
It like shows 10 more just below it, and then below it,
Yeah, uh, that might work.
maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe.
that might work. maybe. Yeah.
I think
It
like
kind of
short
works my
term, like it's good to think about these things, but we're not going to have 100 of these right out the bat, too.
Yeah.
Like if we try the load more thing, and then the first time we get to the point where we use it, we don't like it, like we can change it too.
Okay. Yeah.
That's very true.
I agree. But let's just do the landing page and then figure out how to do the pager of all projects later. That sounds good.
Hmm.
So we can run with this basically. I think from an implementation standpoint, we could pretty much take this current design and start building, and then we can iterate on it when and if we make some adjustments to this, yeah, previous and next buttons. Yeah, ta-da! Exactly.
All right, well, that's all I got, y'all.
Fantastic. Good job, Darius. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. I think it looks really nice.
All right, so next on our agenda, we just have a bunch of other kind of to-do items for backdropcms.org. The modules page, when you're searching for modules, needs to have some more of the information that we now have available added to it. The themes page needs to have an image added. We have a design for the theme page. We just need to have it built out. And the Find Layouts page needs a little kind of creative insight on how to take the design from modules and themes and put it together and create something more suitable for layouts. Although I do think that becomes a little less important now that we have more flexible layouts in core. But it would still be good to get that done. And I added a new item here. We're thinking about how to build a forum. We're currently comparing a couple of different ways to implement forums, like technical implementation issues. But once we figure out what we want to do, we're going to need to figure out what those should look like. And some of that, depending on which approach we take, will be like we'll build it and then theme it afterwards, like based on how do we fix what we have, rather than designing it from scratch. I think most forums are pretty uncomplicated in terms of what needs to be on each page, but they're all pretty ugly. So trying to figure out how to make them more aesthetically pleasing and more usable, I think is going to be our major focus there. And I don't want to get started on that until we figure out how we're actually going to do forums. So stay tuned, but at some point in the near future, we'll probably need a design review on some kind of forum section of the site. We also have a couple of outstanding marketing issues, fun designing projects for people who might just have a couple minutes to spare. We're looking at getting some kind of business card or information item to be able to hand out to people at conferences that has information about Backdrop on it, and perhaps contact information for the person who's handing it out. So if we could make some kind of open source design document that anyone could go ahead and add their own information to and make their own business cards from, that would be fantastic. I would like to get them printed for all of the current PMC members, so anyone on the PMC will have a set to hand out everywhere they go, but it would be great if that could also be reusable for anyone who wants to be able to hand out information about Backdrop. They should be able to use those designs as well. And then Mike McCaffrey also pointed out that he put the dragon sticker on his Apple laptop and its butt was glowing, and he thought we could probably do something a little bit more clever with the dragon than a glowing butt in cahoots with the Apple on the back of an Apple laptop. So if anybody wanted to kind of take the dragon and make it like sitting around the apple or eating the apple or doing something else with the glowing, there's definitely a little opportunity there for fun with the dragon and the apple if somebody wanted to make new stickers specifically for that purpose. And then, of course, we would love to get some new imagery for Backdrop's background images on Facebook and Twitter and Google Plus and YouTube and anywhere else we are on the internet, just kind of get some consistent branding out there. So if anyone wants to work on any of those, there's some nice low-hanging fruit marketing-related issues, or you can check out all of the marketing-related issues on GitHub under the backdropcms.org project. So Backdrop the product is next minor version is scheduled to come out September 15th, which means we have a little bit of time. And in that version, we're planning on including a new front end theme, which is something that's definitely going to need a little design love. Wes has done a really good job of creating something that's nice and clean and blank slatey. So I'm thinking that'll be a great starting point, but it'll be good to get some more eyes on that and just see, like, is it classy enough in order to ship. I think probably what we'll do is get it in, and then once it's in Backdrop, we'll have some time to revise it before the actual release. So once it's in, if anyone wants to give that a test, that would be great. Give us some feedback on it. Other things we want to put into Backdrop 1.5, we'd like to put in a new layout specifically for the homepage, so not a new layout template, but a new layout configuration, so that we'll set up a homepage by default, and it'll have maybe something like a hero image in it, just to give a Backdrop site out of the box a little bit more excitement. And we've got an issue for that. That's issue number 1042 on the Backdrop issue queue on GitHub. We're also going to fix Backdrop to make sure all navigation is responsive out of the box. So if you want to drop in a responsive menu, you can just do that with a block. And we're going to improve the design of the project browser. So this is what a feature we introduced in 1.4 that allows you to browse modules, themes, and layouts directly from your own Backdrop site and install them. We just want to kind of do a review of that interaction and make sure that it's pretty intuitive and makes sense to everyone who's using it. And then we also have a whole bunch of changes to the layout UI. This is actually something that I think, Darius, I could use your feedback on as well. Let's see. 1724? No, that's not it. Huh.
My hand through the things you need reviewed, because it just really goes like water off a duck's back.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to know.
I think. Yeah. UI colors. Gray. Huh. I took, yes, that's it. So I took the gray colors that you had designed for the modules page, which I thought looked really beautiful, and tried to apply it to the layouts page. So I'm pasting this link into the chat. It's issue 1935. And I had a couple of different versions at the end with grays in different places, like the names for the regions I turned gray, the headings for the blocks I turned gray, the content area for the blocks, and I was wondering if that was too much gray. So like the last few versions, I'm like, I'm not really sure this is what I want to do. But I was trying to replace some of the warmer grays with some of the cooler grays and make the aesthetic of this page more similar to the aesthetic of the other page. Wes had some good feedback about like maybe making the drop zones have square corners and then the content inside have round corners. It would help kind of people visually figure out that those two things were different when looking at the page. But I just wanted to make sure I wasn't taking the beautiful design you did for the modules page and somehow doing something horrible to it stuck it on the layouts page. There's just some kind of feedback that's like, don't do that, and then everything else is fine would be good. Or if you think it's okay, that would be good.
Okay, so where should I start? So it's the first post is here's the layouts in 1.3, and
yeah,
then
so that's what it was before I started messing with it.
I see. Okay, and then the second image is
that's the one that the second image is just the modules page, and I pointed out all the things I really liked about the color choices and the layout in the modules page. And then all of the screenshots after that are how I tried to take the designs from the modules page and apply them to the layouts page in different ways. So the first one is just changing the colors, and then the second one is adding a draggable handle so people knew which things could be dragged and dropped. And then
oh, that's a great idea, yeah.
The
Mm-hmm.
third one, I changed the background color for the block, so it's not just the headers that are gray, but now the content area is gray too. So there's a white background with a gray header and a gray content, whereas before it was a white background and then it had a white content area with a gray border.
Jen, do you
So
want
this
to
is
Uh-huh.
borderless.
turn on your screen share real quick?
Oh, yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm going through it as you're talking, but
okay, yeah, I was just thinking for anyone who wants to watch this issue
video,
to
yeah.
screen share. Oh my goodness, there's so much going on. Okay, I apologize for the mess on my desktop. Ah, okay. Can you guys see this browser window?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here is a screenshot of the layouts page that has the draggable handles, the gray header, the gray background, and then I also made the heading text for the region. I was trying to make it so that the blocks had more prominence than the regions, because the regions are, people are usually looking for a block on this page. So I made it gray, but I wasn't sure about that. And then I think Wes recommended, like, rather than just making it gray, we could change the text style. So, for example, on
Mm-hmm.
the modules page, the groupings were this, like, all uppercase text.
Right.
We
Yeah.
could do something similar here, where if we made it all uppercase, it would change the aesthetic in maybe a way
I
that's
would
better
carry
in
that
terms of
over.
color.
Yeah, for consistency too, right? I think that makes sense.
Okay. And then I was a little worried it would look too much like a link, but I think if we don't change the color, it'll be fine. Just change
Mm-hmm.
the text.
And it's got the
Um,
handle too, which I think
yeah.
that helps. And
Yeah, if it
I
might.
think the handles are a great idea.
Well, the
Yeah.
handles I thought were important because on
Yeah.
a desktop device you get the handle when you hover over it, but on a mobile device there's no hover, so there's no indication to anyone at all that these can be moved if they're on a tablet. And so I thought having
They
that.
want to hide it with buttons anyway. Like let's just have them there.
Okay.
Yeah. The internet is hiding so many things lately. It's scary.
And
Like
then
websites don't even put the name of the website on the top anymore. It's just like an icon. Like what's happening, people?
And then how do you feel about the gray color in the block versus the gray border? So here's one. This is the white with a gray border.
White with gray border. Okay.
And then this next one had a gray background instead. Gray background, no border.
It's hard to see through there. Let me see. I'm looking.
I was thinking I also maybe adding a drop shadow instead of a border might make it a little clearer that these elements are sitting on top of the region, give it a little depth. But
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, the border versus. So wait, what is the difference? It's hard to see through the screen share, unfortunately.
yeah, I don't have an example of drop shadow. I didn't try that. The the reason I didn't like the border is because I was feeling a little bit like this layout page was very liney. Like there's lines everywhere. There's lines on the outside. There's
Uh-huh.
lines, dotted lines, and then lines
Yeah.
inside. And so
Yeah.
I tried to get rid of some of those lines by doing this solid color instead.
Okay. Yeah.
But now there's like a lot of gray.
Yeah. No, you definitely have the right design thinking. I'll have to take a look at it
Okay.
offline. Actually.
Well, I'll let you look at it and just leave whatever feedback you want. I'm happy to do a couple more
Yeah.
iterations on that.
Yeah,
But it was one
walk
thing
me-
that struck me when I was working on the adding new layouts in Backdrop 1.4 is I was like, this page is just not as beautiful as some of these other pages are. And there's a reason for that. It's newer. It hasn't had a design pass on it. And I thought maybe if we could just take some of these design elements that we had on the modules page that I thought was a really successful redesign and try and apply them to other interfaces, it might make the whole experience of using Backdrop, more cohesive and also better.
Hard. There's so much nesting, right? So
Yeah.
that balance between lines and shadows and grays, and yeah, it's a dance. I think one other piece of immediate feedback is I might go down on the point size on the configure. Because to me, like if I were just glance at this page, that's the first thing I see is configure over and
For
over
each
again.
block?
Like you know the blue on the right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and since it's repeated so many times, and it's like almost the biggest thing, and it's blue, it's drawing like a whole lot of gravity over there.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna emphasize that a little.
Okay, that's great.
Hmm. So yeah, I'll take another look at that a little bit later
Okay.
today.
So that's the only one that I was kind of like, I think I could use Darius' feedback on this one. All the other ones are like, we've got a lot of stuff to
Yeah,
do, but I'll specifically like mention you in a GitHub issue if I want your feedback on something, and then hopefully that'll help with the noise of 100,000 GitHub
yeah,
issues.
even like ping me on ADM because I'm like even those things they pop up and I'm like, is this
This
actually
is
for me
real.
or did it just pop up? You
Okay,
know? So
can
yeah.
do.
Sorry, I'm so lame on GitHub, but
All right. So there's a handful of other user experience issues for 1.5. We'll address those as they come along, but we definitely can use designer's eyes. If anyone watching this has free design cycles or especially user experience ability, we'd love help there. You can look at all of the issues related to design on GitHub. There is a tag for audience design if you're interested in that. We're kind of coming up at the end of our hour, so let's do a little open Q&A. Does anyone have any questions or comments or feedback? Anything else we should add to this week's meeting? No? All right. Well, if you do, there's always the issue queue. You can open an issue and tag it with question. You can do that for backdropcms.org as well as for Backdrop the project itself. You can ping us in Gitter, which is our online chat medium, or some of us are still in IRC, or you can tweet, and we hopefully will notice and respond. So thanks, guys, for coming. Thanks, Darius, for the great work on the design stuff, and for amazing feedback. And we will meet again in 4 minutes.
cool. Thanks, guys. Yeah.
Hey, thanks,
Bye.
guys.